If you're anything like me, you'll arrive at an event just expecting all of the necessary preparations to be done, laid out for you so that the event can begin. Now, over time, the more that I've been involved in events, I've started to realize, wow, actually, somebody has to do that. And you realize that there's many jobs, many things that need to happen in the preparations that you didn't actually realize were evident before getting involved in them.
Wow.
And so, this four-part series that we're going to go through, I really hope that you enjoy it. We're going to take a look at the behind the scenes to an event that I was recently a part of. It was called The Look of Dusty. It was one of 13 tribute style fringe shows that was put on during the Adelaide Fringe by a great company called Night Owl Shows. And in this part one, we're going to be talking to Sam, who's a wonderful guy who is the guy behind the scenes for all of the tech style production. I'm here at the Regal Theatre in Kensington, South Australia. We're going to find out what goes into the behind the scenes. So I'm here talking with Sam. He's the main tech who is being so generous in setting up all of my stuff for me. Don't need to bother doing it. I'll just sit back and relax. But yeah, no, I just thought I'd just chat with you, mate, about like how did you get involved and what sort of stuff do you need to do?
Well, for this show, I'm running all the AV things. So I'm up at the back. There aren't very many decent places to sit up here, so I'm quite a long way away. But so up there, I've got controlling QLab, which is doing all the projections. I'm doing all the audio, monitors, in-ear monitors, front of house sound, and lighting as well up there.
Right. And what is it like juggling all of those different things at once?
Well, you have to be rhythmically cued into the music, I guess, and certainly practice makes perfect. But we're doing a lot of shows, like weekends. We've been doing 3 shows a day, so it is a challenge to be present enough to get all the cues, video, audio, changing of instruments and things like that, as well as making the lighting empathetic and dynamic as much as possible. So yeah, I often have 2 hands, one on the tap tempo for the delay,
Yeah.
one on color and positioning for the lights,
Yeah.
and then maybe controlling the audio with my chin. No, not really.
Finger dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what's one of the biggest challenges for you, do you think?
Probably just the tight turnaround. Some days we literally have 20 minutes between show finishing,
Yeah.
changing the stage.
So if you've
sound
got
check,
some
all
idiot that
things.
wants to ask you some questions like this, right in between a changeover, you'd say, "Get lost."
Well, if this was after this first show,
Yeah.
we probably wouldn't have time.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah. What's one of the things that you think to yourself, I'm counting my lucky stars that I either learnt this or acquired this skill or whatever for this type of job?
I think one of the things I bring to the table is that I used to be a touring musician,
Uh-huh.
like what a lot of these guys are doing.
Yep.
And I studied at music school like they did. I specialized in composition and arrangement. And I also worked as a producer when I do session work as well as a musician. So in terms of the sort of skill set I bring, I'm very interested in arrangement, texture, composition, structure, all of those kind of musical compositional elements. And so I'm always thinking in those terms. Like one of the musicians said the other day, like they're always annoyed by when sound engineers look like by the time you get to the second verse, they look really bored.
Boring.
To me, the second verse is the most exciting part of the song.
Right.
There's a change.
Yeah.
Something needs to change. Something needs to lift. Something needs to tug. Something
Yeah.
needs to go. Something needs to arrive. What's the change? What's the thing that gives me perspective on the song? When
Yeah.
we come back around, So, yeah, I love that stuff.
I can't help but notice your English accent,
Yeah.
but you live in Adelaide now.
That's right.
And so the fact that we've got a bunch of Brits that you and I are both luckily able to, hop on and join the fun with, was that just a coincidence?
Yeah. I've been here about 4 years now.
Yeah.
As is often the way, jobs come and go. Finger in various threads.
Mm.
I work as a freelancer across studios and live work. I do some theatre work. So yeah, my finger in multiple pies, jobs come up,
Yep.
people put their hands up, and yeah, I think the sheer scope of this show meant that a lot of people maybe weren't so keen to take it on because it's 5 weeks
Right.
almost every day.
Yep.
You know, it's a big job.
Life has to take a back seat, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was thinking about it for a few days, and I thought, well, it actually simplifies things in a lot of ways.
Ah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like in terms of like it's a busy time of year at Fringe. So rather than having bitty things all over the place, it's like, well, actually, 5 weeks of solid work. It's going to be busy, but extremely enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah,
What a
totally.
great run of shows it's been. You know, the privilege of mixing these kind of greatest hits type sets played by really good musicians. So try and make it sound like the record.
Mm.
That's what I've really enjoyed about the whole process.
So if you're thinking how great true love is, all you gotta do is hold and listen and squeeze it and love it. Yeah, just do it. And after you do, you will be.
So really, the whole show, it's more like a narrative than it is a gig. Like it's this, in most cases, the sort of life story of a musician, and so there's lots of projections that accompany the gig. You could think of it almost like a greatest hits set across an artist's entire back catalogue, and then there's lots of things around with that.
And so the juggling of the other life things while you're doing this,
Yeah.
how is that going for you?
This I probably couldn't do this all the time.
Yeah.
I've got 3 kids.
Right. Wow.
And I do more studio work than live work these days. It's kind of the balance. I also do some teaching, so I've stopped. I teach on degrees, like a day or so a week. So I've stopped that for the time being as well for this kind of stint. Yeah, I mean the freelance life is just no one's ever figured it out. No one's ever got the balance right, but everyone is striving to get the balance right. So it is what it is, but it gives me the flexibility to take things on and to pick and choose where I want to go. So I've been doing like in mornings before this. I've been over at the studio finishing off mixes and
Right,
records
wow.
and stuff like that around.
Not catching up on sleep that you need. Wow.
Next week.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of a balance, we better let you keep doing your thing. I mean, mate, I can do my guitar rig if you've got other stuff to do.
Sure.
No worries.
Great.
Thanks for that.
Cheers, buddy.
Oh, good on you, Sam. Thanks so much for those wise words there. I hope you watching this got a lot out of it. I'm going to leave a link to Sam's website so that if you wanted to connect with him and check him out a little bit further, you can do that. And also, go check out the last remaining Night Owl shows that are on at Gluttony in the Adelaide Fringe before they're finished this weekend. There's two. There's a tribute to Blondie and a tribute to Amy Winehouse, which are going to have a bunch of the same great musicians involved. Sam will be there doing his wonders with the production. So I'll leave the details to that below as well. Now, just remember that whatever you're doing in your music, that you don't have to do it all right now. Just do the next thing. Hope this has been a helpful crafty music tips video. I'll see you in another one really soon. Cheers.